Hi there, Daily Bible Time. Dominic Steele, Friday morning. It was lovely last night to be sleeping in my own bed again after a week of holidays and then heading up to the Reach Australia conference on the Central Coast. It's actually been a while, and so good to be back in town. Looking forward to being back in the pulpit this weekend at Village Church and teaching on freedom, the freedom as a Christian from Galatians 5. And we have seen the last few days in Daily Bible Time that it is for freedom that Christ set us free, and so don't let yourself be put under a yoke of slavery. Don't drift off into legalism, or don't drift off into licentiousness. Paul here on the legalism thing goes on to warn the teachers. He says, verse 11 of chapter 5, "Now brothers, if I still preach circumcision, why am I still persecuted?" He's saying, if I was preaching circumcision, I wouldn't be persecuted, because it's the pro-circumcision people, people who want to add the legalism of circumcision, who are behind all this move of persecution that's going on. They want me to preach the other thing. They want me to preach that it's Jesus plus circumcision, Jesus plus the legalism that saves. And he says, I don't preach that. I don't preach that Christians must do the legalism of circumcision or the legalism of anything. In fact, I don't preach the other Christian legalisms. I don't preach Christians must dance. I don't preach Christians I don't preach the other Christian legalisms. I don't preach Christians mustn't dance. I don't preach Christians mustn't drink. I don't preach Christians mustn't smoke. I don't preach Christians must read their Bibles every day. And I don't preach Christians must give to this church. Paul says dancing is irrelevant. Drinking is irrelevant. Smoking is irrelevant. Could be stupid, but it's irrelevant in terms of salvation. Bible reading, potentially good for you, but not the mark of being saved. Giving, if it's from the heart of generosity, I mean, that's a great thing. But again, not the mark, not the legalistic thing you put your trust in. See, if you preach those things as musts, then you've actually abolished the offence of the cross. Because if you preach like that, people are likely to think that it is their insert word that gets them to heaven, their Bible reading that gets them to heaven, it's their not dancing that gets them to heaven, it's their being circumcised that gets them to heaven, it's their giving that gets them to heaven, it's their non-smoking that gets them to heaven, it's even their daily Bible reading devotion that gets them to heaven, or their church attendance, anything like that. And in that case, the offence, this is what he says, the offence of the cross has been abolished. Because if you think you can get to heaven by doing any of those things, insert word, well, then you didn't get to heaven by Jesus. The scandal, the offence of the cross, is that it cuts the ground from under the thought of any personal achievement or merit as making us acceptable to God, to be reduced to receiving salvation from the crucified one. That is an affront to all self-pride and self-help. And yet, I keep wanting to do self-pride and self-help. And Jesus says no. Paul says, verse 12, I wish those who are disturbing you might also get themselves castrated. That's pretty full on. I don't want to be castrated. I feel that pretty strongly. Equally strongly, I don't want to be someone who teaches that the cross is not all that matters. Equally strongly, I want to be somebody who says it's Jesus and Jesus alone, not plus any of these other things, that ensures your salvation. And I don't want to be misheard on that point. So I'm going to be saying in church on Sunday, yeah, our intergenerational gift, great thing. But it's not a must. It's not an essential marker of being part of the church or essential marker of being part of the kingdom. It is for freedom that Christ Jesus has set us free. And so enjoying that freedom, we are then free to serve in a whole range of things. But we mustn't say that they are musts. Thanks for joining us on Daily Bible Time this Friday morning. I'll look forward to seeing you, Village Church, Sunday morning, Sunday evening, and opening up this passage in full.